Now, the Suzuki Swift Sport has always been a great option for anyone looking for low running costs wrapped up in a package that's cute and sporty as well. Now, this latest version has got a mild hybrid engine too, so we're going to take a look at it, find out how it reduces running costs even further and whether it's worth considering. The Suzuki Swift Sport hasn't changed much over the years, but it's aging particularly well. There are some great elements to this car as well that really make it stand out, like the carbon fibre effect along the bottom and the smart alloy wheels. You'd be hard pushed to think that this was actually a mild hybrid. Up front you've got the big grille with the Suzuki badge prominently placed in the middle, and then you've got the honeycomb effect around the fog lamp. It's a really neat package and it looks great, especially in this deep red. Now, it's a real mixed bag when it comes to the interior of the Suzuki Swift Sport. Some of those sporty elements from the outside have been carried through to the interior. So you've got these really comfy figure-hugging sports seats and this red trim that's dotted around the cabin, not to mention this flat bottom steering wheel. It really does live up to that sporty intent. There are a couple of downsides though. The first is the quality of some of the plastics do cheapen the feel of the cabin, but it is quite nice that your heating and ventilation controls are separate from the infotainment system, which, to be honest, does feel a little bit dated and a little bit slow. But overall, this is a cheap hybrid, so you can forgive it in some areas. So anyone who's sat in the back of the Suzuki Swift probably won't want to be here for too long a journey. While the front seats are quite comfortable for the people sat up front, anyone who's sat behind them, well, might struggle when it comes to looking around because they take up quite a lot of view. Plus, because it's quite dark back here, it can be a little bit gloomy. There's also no USB ports, so you won't be able to charge any of your devices. There's also a small transmission hump in the middle, so anyone who's sat between the two rear passengers might struggle when it comes to legroom. There's also a couple of ISOFIX points in the back, so that will be handy for putting child seats. Also, the doors don't open particularly wide, so getting a child seat in here might need a bit of negotiating. The boot space in the back of the Suzuki Swift Sport is pretty respectable. You get around 264 litres, but there is quite a large lip to heave heavy items open. And of course, if you do want to extend things further, you can fold down the split fold rear seats. So what's it like to drive? Well, let's start with the facts and figures. It's powered by a 1.4 litre petrol engine that pumps out about 127 brake horsepower. It's the same engine that you'll find in a regular Swift Sport. However, this one is a hybrid. More importantly, a mild hybrid. But what does that mean? Well, essentially it's got a 48 volt system that assists the engine at lower speeds, which helps reduce emissions and improve fuel economy. Drive it carefully and it'll average around 50 miles per gallon with emissions of 127 grams per kilometre of CO2. Now, the Swift Sport is designed to be fun to drive, and the hybrid is no different. It's not particularly quick. 0 to 60 is about 8.9 seconds and it's got a top speed of 130 miles per hour. But it's nippy, it's agile. You drive it around town and you can weave through the traffic and slip it into tight parking spaces really easily. So the character of the Swift Sport remains even though it's a hybrid. So one thing that you do need to take note of if you're not up to speed on hybrids is that this mild hybrid system doesn't power the car. So the energy that's stored within the battery just helps assist the engine, whereas on a normal hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, any of the energy that's stored within the battery will help power the wheels at lower speeds. All-round visibility is excellent. You've got a nice big windscreen up front and the back window is also nice and large too, so you can get a good idea of what's going on around you. There's no question that the best place for the Suzuki Swift Sport is in and around town. On the motorway, it will feel a little bit more exposed, it will feel a little louder and less refined, and that hybrid engine makes it perfectly suited to life at lower speeds. This model comes with a 6-speed manual gearbox too. The Suzuki Swift Sport has always been a great little hatchback, but with the addition of some hybrid technology, it means running costs are now a bit more reduced. There are some great elements with this car. The interior looks fantastic, and some of the sporty elements makes you think that this isn't even a hybrid. But it is let down in some areas by some of the cheaper plastics, but that can kind of be forgiven bearing in mind its lower price point. If you're in the market for a cheap hybrid, then this should definitely be on your list. Thanks for watching this Motors.co.uk new car review of the Suzuki Swift Sport. What do you think of it? Do you think a hybrid should be a hot hatch, or do you think the two should be kept separate? Let us know in the comments section below. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to the Motors.co.uk YouTube channel and click that bell icon so you're notified every time we upload a new video.